Hey YouTube, Kevin here from Candy Banana Balls. How's everybody doing tonight? I want to talk to you guys about our hatchlings, tell you where we're at with them, and give you a few tips on hatchlings, handling them and such like that. Uh, like I said in previous videos, we ended up with 5 eggs out of that matchup between the banana pastel and the firefly, and we ended up with a superfly female, and then we got 2 banana fireflies and 2 banana superflies out of that matchup. So we did really well. Right away, the superfly, after shedding, ate its first meal, and a few days after shedding, and it has had 3 consecutive meals without any issue. I mean, it took right off the feeding. It's been doing great. The other 4 bananas did not do as well. We waited a little bit. We had sheds out of all of them, and gave it about a week. Started trying, gave it 3-4 days rest, tried again. We did that off and on until it got to the point where we were at a month, and actually 2 of them were starting to get a little thin. So we went ahead and assist fed every one of them without incident. Everyone did well with that, and since then I have done 1 more assist feed. I did try just a regular to see if anybody would take, and I didn't want to mess around and wait again. I wanted to get them fed again, so I went ahead and gave them 1 more assist feed. So all 4 bananas have had 2 assist feeds, and now are, in my opinion, out of the woods as far as worrying about them deteriorating, that type of thing. So now I'll give them a little bit of time. If in about 5 or 6 days, if they don't take, I'm gonna wait a little bit and see if they will take, without assist feeding again. But when they're small like that, you don't want to wait too long. I mean, a month is probably about, the cutoff. That all depends on, what's the way of the snakes. Whenever they were born, the superfly was right about 80 grams, and the smallest one of the group was just about 70 grams. So between 70 and 80 grams is a decent hatchling. But after that time, that smallest hatchling was down to about 60 grams, 61 grams. So starting to get what I consider a little bit dangerous or a little bit concerning. So went ahead and did what we had to do, get them assist fed and get them off and hopefully growing. But what I want to talk to you about is a few things. What I've been trying to do with these hatchlings, and obviously some big breeders probably cannot do this just because of the volume of snakes they have, but with mine, we have a very small amount of snakes. I'm trying to handle these, obviously without feedings involved. You don't want to handle after feeding within 24, 48 hours. Give it 48 just to be safe. Trying to handle them. Just get them accustomed to being taken out of their tub and being handled for a short period of time, 10-15 minutes, depending on how the snake reacts. And that's the biggest thing that I wanted to stress. If you got a snake, hatchling, or whatever it is, if you're trying to get it used to being handled, you got to read their body language and what they're telling you. You see this snake, I just picked it up, and it's just kind of chilling. The tongue's flicking. It's not in a hurry or a stress or a flight mode. That's the things that you want to watch. If I pick this snake up and it is just flailing and wanting out of my hands, you don't want to continue to stress that snake out. You're going to try a couple different options to calm that snake down, and one of them that I would recommend is putting it in a bag. If you have a snake, hatchling sized, or even a larger snake, and no matter what you try, You try working with it short periods of time, just picking it up and letting it, trying to calm it down, I guess is what I want to say. And you can't get anywhere, it is just not handleable, or it's striking a lot or being defensive. um, what I recommend is get yourself a pillowcase or a snake bag. Get the snake into the bag and set the bag down, and let the snake become calm in that bag. um, Obviously you want to do this somewhere where it's warm. Don't take it into a cold area of the house or air conditioned area of the house where it's 50, 60 degrees. But if you have a warm area of the house, or even outside where it's going to be 80 at least, something like that, just spend some time holding that bag, moving the bag around, letting the snake be handled but through the bag. And as long as they're remaining calm in that bag, you can continue to do so. That's going to do a couple things. That's going to allow the snake to understand to a point that you are not meaning any harm. When it's in that bag, it gives it a level of safety. It gives it a level of protection in its mind. So it's a lot less stressed in that bag. Now, if you find the same thing where that snake is, flailing around the bag, you're going to want to let that bag just sit until the snake calms down, and try to do it in small doses. If you get it in the bag and it's calm, then continue to work with it. Small 15-minute sessions. But what you'll ultimately want to do is get yourself used to getting that snake out of its enclosure, handling it, even getting it into the bag, and then handling it while it's in the bag, just moving it around, holding it in the bag, until it starts to become calm, and then try it without the bag. And I'm going to tell you, in a very short period of time, after a few sessions, you're going to notice that that snake is calming down when it's out of that bag, and you're able to hold it now on your own for periods of time. So that's one little trick, or one little way that you can get a snake that is either being defensive, or just in a very scared fight or flight mode where it's trying to escape from you. That bag trick is going to give you a little bit of a way to handle it without it reacting as scared as it would if you had it out. And like I said, within a few times of doing so, you're going to notice a big change in your snake, where it is much calmer. Again, it's going to slowly learn that you're not trying to do anything to it, you're not trying to harm the snake, and that's basically what it's in panic mode. It does not know what your intentions are, and it wants nothing to do with you. It wants to get away from you. And that could be from many things. It could have just been from not being handled. It could have been dropped, or it just might be the personality of the snake. It's just extra scared. And with these ball pythons, just like any animal, they all have their own little personalities. So you will have ones that are just super friendly from day one, that never give you a problem, or always easily handled. And then you have ones that are just a little moody. One day that you'll handle them without any incidents. Next day you might have to tiptoe around them a little bit. So unfortunately, just like people, they have a little bit of moods and things that in their environment that change, that maybe make them a little moody. So read your body language to your snake. If you go to get it out of its tub and you notice it coiled, or looking like it wants to strike at you, make sure you're very careful how you pick it up. Go from the back, stay away from the front, try to grab it from the sides, and should notice a difference as soon as it knows it's being picked up and handled. It should relax a little bit from that defensive striking posture. Usually you don't have that problem. And like you say, this snake is being just amazing. And I'm not saying that's all me, but what I am saying is, at a hatchling age, what I try to do or instill in them is, handling, almost daily, that they're going to be taken from their enclosure and handled briefly, for whatever, whether it's just to enjoy them, whether it's changing their substrate, changing their water. Um, I'm trying to instill the handling in these hatchlings, to give the next person that purchases this a nice pet, a nice handleable snake, whether it's a pet or a breeder. When you get these big breeding operations and you start getting into 30, 40, 50 snakes, the one-on-one time, a lot of times suffers. You'll have your favorites, you'll have certain ones maybe that you handle more than others, but for the most part, you may just have ones that only get handled when you're changing something in the tub, changing the substrate water. Um, they may only get handled once a week or once every even couple of weeks, depending on the situation that you have. So, I like to do this with each one of these hatchlings daily. That way, when these snakes go to the new owners, typically for a pet owner, they want to enjoy these things right out of the bag. They want to be able to handle it. And a lot of times with hatchlings, once they get into the feeding mode and they start feeding, you can get a lot of defensive or feeding responses out of them when you're trying to handle them or get them out of their enclosure. So I try to instill, hey, this is handling time, and cut that with feeding time. That way they start to understand their life, how it is going to be for them moving forward, that this is going to be a routine that they're going to be handled, and get them comfortable with it so they are enjoyable for you. Because when you buy a snake animal like this, you want to be able to enjoy it and handle it. And there's nothing more frustrating or depressing than getting something you're super excited for and then having problems handling it, and having to go through some of the things like I said. Oh, look at that, nice big yawn. Going through some of the things like I said that where you have to put it in a bag and try to calm the snakes down. So I'm trying to instill that in the ones that I sell. That way, they're used to it, and moving forward, you'll have a pet that you can enjoy for years to come. And same with if it's a breeder, you'll be able to. This could be one of your favorites, and that seems to be in a breeding aspect. It's either there's a certain morph that you really care for, so you find yourself handling that one more, or there's just one that's super docile and super nice that you just enjoy handling because you know that there's no surprises when you pick it up. So that's what I'm trying to instill in these. So and look, please like and subscribe. Plenty more videos to come. We'll do some more hatchling videos. We've got some ASF videos to do, but just wanted to do this quick one here on the hatchlings and handling them. As you can see, just a few weeks in of these being handled, and they're puppy dog tame, just chilling. So have a great one. Like and subscribe. Come along the journey. Thanks again.